Are you considering bringing on a family member into your business? Well, it's a big step, and how you do it will really shape their future as well as the future of your business. Hi, I'm Tammy Coleman, and today we're going to be talking about onboarding family members into a business. We're going to be looking at processes for introducing them into the culture and meeting new team members, growing their skill set into new opportunities and new roles within the company, and ultimately shaping them for a leadership role within the company. So, first, we want to begin with talking about having the right mindset for bringing on a family member into the company. You want to make sure that that family member really has the desire to join the company and they're not just being onboarded because of the family ties. Conversely, you really want to be sure that the family member doing the hiring is asking the right questions and making sure that they're putting that family member in the right role within the company. So as you get those pieces aligned and your family member is really on board with what their role is going to be within the company, you want to make sure that you're taking a few key steps, just like you would with any other employee. Starting out with making sure that you have good introductions with team members. Sometimes there can be ill feelings of nepotism between employees and a new family member coming on board. So you want to make sure that you're doing really strong introductions and setting those expectations of expertise and capabilities from that team member, from that family member, rather. And then you really want to make sure that you're setting the right expectations for the family members, that they're being treated just like they would as a regular employee, looking at PTO, benefits, the way their work is overseen. And so looking at your processes for bringing on a family member is really important in making sure that not only you guys are in the right mindset, but that it's streamlined and fair across the board between family members and employees. The next area we want to look at is ensuring that you're avoiding the advancement to leadership trap and making sure that the new family member really understands that they're starting in an entry or mid-level position, setting up the right processes to evaluate their work and make sure that they are learning and growing within the company. You also want to make sure that you are building a plan for leadership, but that they are learning before they get into that leadership role, that they're really understanding the full concept of the company. One of the things that we do with our own company is making sure that family members are playing a role in each of the different areas within the company. So they might start out as a simple administrative person and then moving into a content role and then learning about website development and sitting in on client facing meetings and just really making sure that they're understanding not only the different responsibilities within the company and how those work together, but also the culture of the leadership and how you are communicating with your clients and how you're communicating with team members and what kind of expectations you're setting for your customer facing processes. And when you integrate your family members into each of those different roles, they really get a good holistic picture of what your company leadership looks like, what that culture looks like, how language and behaviors happen within the company. And that really sets your company up for success. So there isn't a jarring change in culture as that family member grows into a leadership position. There can sometimes be wrong expectations of the family member who has come into the business, assuming that they're just naturally going to grow with the company and move into a leadership role. So it's really important, again, as I mentioned, to set expectations, but really set benchmarks and milestones with that family member of what areas they need to grow in, what achievements they need to make, and how you're going to measure those early on so that there's very clear expectations of that growth mentality and for them to really know what they're working towards versus just magically earning it because of their last name. Another area that you might want to consider is having that family member go out into the real world and experience this role in other companies, and let them learn from other leaders within a company that can speak into their professional development, and they can see how other companies communicate with one another and how those cultures interact before they come back to your company and really start growing and learning within your company. What I think is a very important area that you want to make sure that you're including within your professional development for your family member is having other leaders within your company speak into their constructive criticism and their ability to learn and grow through someone else within the company. So making sure that their direct leader or supervisor is not a family member, but rather another team member within the company who can be unbiased and honest and just share their expertise from a different perspective. That will just help your family member grow more holistically and just learn from other people and feel like a real part of the team. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about just that expectation in them moving into a leadership role. It's so important for family members, especially that younger generation family member moving in. It's important for them to understand that leadership is not a given. It's not definitely going to happen because sometimes they just may not have the skill set or the drive or the right mentality in terms of the culture and the growth of the business to move into a leadership role. So it's really important to set the expectation up front that it's not a given that you're going to play a leadership role within the company or have a leadership role within the company. So setting those expectations early is important, but also, again, building those milestones and those opportunities for that family member to learn how to become a leader within the company is imperative, if that is the ultimate goal. So enrolling them in leadership classes outside of the company, really investing in their professional development, making sure they're working with a variety of generations within the company. If you have 3 generations still working within a company, making sure they're working with different family members within the company so that they're really getting that holistic perspective of what it is and what it takes to run the company. Making sure they understand the long-term goals of the business and what the vision and the mission is as a company. Having a structured approach to onboarding your family members will help them to gain the respect of your other team members. It will help them grow in their skill set within the company and for their own future and career. And it will also help to provide them what they need to really become a meaningful contributor to your business as a legacy business owner. So we hope this vlog gave you some insight and inspiration, and stay tuned for our next vlog coming next month.